Hello everybody, welcome. I'm No02, and thank you for watching this video. This is an Act 2 solo no hope deck, but it's got the updated cards in it, so be sure to check the timestamps to see where those, how I talk about those two new cards. Out with a bang? What? Yes, it's here. Check the timestamps and hear me talk about those cards in particular. Being a solo deck, this is designed to be played with bots in the offline mode, not intended to be played with real human being teammates. So, let us begin with the top. Copper card. Always have one. Think you should always have at least one. What is it? Money Grubbers. High risk, high reward. You need at least like one Cost of Avarice mission, like every 3 to 4 missions. Otherwise, hazard pay will eventually outpace it. Share the Wealth does not trigger properly with the bots. You only get 100 copper per mission. And my particular playstyle doesn't really tend to lend itself very nicely to bounty hunters. So, because I pick left or right, choose the path, loot and scoot. That's sort of my mentality. If things go smoothly, if things go well in a mission, I usually don't end up getting the 30 kills necessary for bounty hunter to proc all the way. So min-maxing for that extra 50 copper just isn't worth it for me most of the time, because I usually end up just not getting the 250 to begin with. So I like hazard pay, super reliable, awesome. That's my preference. Offensive Scavenger, double grenade pouch, the most flexible means of dealing with just about everything in the game, but in particular tall boys, right? If you can stand in a corner, you can dodge a ball. You can deal with the horde of zombies very comfortably. And the only thing that can really threaten you is mutations. Grenades are just the most reliable way to do that, specifically grenades. So with Offensive Scavenger, when it comes to acquiring an extra grenade, it's just the most reliable means of doing so, I feel. And even if you don't end up finding an extra grenade with this, or keep your grenades nice and stocked throughout the mission, getting an extra flashbang, getting an extra this or that is still really nice. It allows you the option, the potential, the opportunity to set up for horde events, take advantage of throwing a Molotov here or there. If you come across a flashbang and you haven't encountered your boss yet, you can keep a mental note of it, keep going through your mission. Uh-oh, your breaker spawns, you back up to your flashbang. You have the option now to set up for a variety of different things. And so just Offensive Scavenger just gives more potential, I think, when it comes to like Pinata, Magician's Apprentice, right? Things like that. Though I am sad to not have Pinata in this deck. So, now we have the grenade damage. Bomb Squad, I love because of the extra frag grenade. Honestly, if Offensive Scavenger just said like, hey, +2 frag grenades will spawn on this mission, I might still just run it, because that's how strong grenades are just in general. But we have 2 different damage types for our grenade, so they're a little bit multiplicative. So we're just sort of kind of min-maxing a little bit, though when it comes to the numbers, there's better ways to get more grenade damage. But between these 2 cards, we get the extra grenade, and we have just enough grenade damage here that as we get purple grenades, plus the damage boost of a bot going down, we eventually get the potential to grenade dump bosses, in particular breakers, very comfortably. And that's key for the end of Act 2 when you have to fight the double breaker at grave danger and things like that. Also, with these 2 cards, your grenades start out being able to blow up tall boys with one throw, with one direct hit. Hardened tall boys are always going to be an issue, but if you get a direct hit, you got purple grenades. There's potential to stumble them, depending on how much damage the bots have done to them or shooting at them at the time, things like that. If they're shredded, there's potential. So we just have just enough grenade damage to do fancy stuff by the time we get to purple grenades, and we get an extra grenade, so it's quite nice. Find the Hole synergizes really well with the grenade stuff. Grenades become temporary health. Every 2 grenades is a pain pill, essentially, right? Which is really, really nice. But also turns our grenades into a, oh crap, I'm scared moment, where we can throw a grenade at our feet. Temporary health absorbs some of that damage. We get the speedy zoom away with our extra sprint speed. It's actually quite nice. I think Fire in the Hole is a card that has been slept on for a long time. It's a super solid card. It's pretty much a staple now in all my decks. It's super reliable. Extra healing. We get an extra 80 points of healing. And if you're Hoffman, because you should probably always be Hoffman, you get 100 points of health if you have 5 grenade slots, right? That's a lot of healing. Especially nice because we don't have a support slot because of T5. In addition to that, when it comes to sprint speed, there's only 4 cards that... Where's the camera? 4 cards that give us sprint speed, and we have 3 of them. Fire Hole is one of them. Super solid, super great. Because between Run Like Hell and Dash, the blitzing zombies are just barely faster than us. We can't really infinitely kite a horde around with us. You can if you're super good and skilled and smart about how you manage your stamina and things like that. And so it gives us the potential to speedy clutch a mission. But Fire in the Hole is sort of like the cherry on top where, yes, if you throw a grenade, you really can speed clutch a mission. So depending on where you are, it gives you that option of just, you can potentially just totally clutch this mission by running for it if you have enough grenades to do so. Things like that. But overall, it's just really nice to have the extra health and things like that. So this card becoming really valuable for like the Armory, Broken Bird, as well as like Grave Danger, things like that, where you have to run around a little bit more, or you're sort of like Grave Danger, you're either running around or you're stuck in the church, right, holding off a bunch of hordes and things like that. So the extra health and things like that, really, really reliable. Superior Cardio. This, I think, has become the best sort of like stamina card in general, because yes, not as much stamina as Rhythmic Breathing, but over time, over the course of a mission, the sprint efficiency gets more valuable. So Superior Cardio like scales over the course of a mission, because getting extra stamina is something that sort of just happens naturally, right? Because you find the basic cards, you pick them up, and occasionally it'll be an extra, extra whatever, 10% stamina or whatever it is. So every bit of extra stamina that we gain over the course of a mission, the sprint efficiency becomes more and more valuable, right? Essentially, every bit of stamina that you gain is essentially 20% bigger than what the number actually is, because we get 20% more value out of it. And so I like Superior Cardio. We get the extra 5 points of health, extra bit of stamina, just enough to sort of get by with our sprint speed at the start. And over the course of a mission, by the time we get the Broken Bird, hopefully we got a nice chunky stamina bar, or at least enough to get by. And Superior Cardio is sort of like crucial in helping us to deal with that. So it's the most flexible overall card as far as helping us scale our ability to run over the course of a mission. Now Expire T5 plus Pyro. This card is, I mean, it's broken. It's going to be nerfed, right? It's got to be nerfed. I think it's probably going to be nerfed. But it's so stinking good. Armory, Broken Bird, getting onto the boat in the clog, fighting your way through the trailer park on trailer trash, things like that. There's just, Expire T5 is good on every campaign, good on every mission. If you play my style, where you're trying to like push your way all the time, take space, keep making good progress, making good time, Expire T5 allows you to do that super comfortably, super easily. And with Pyro, you heal a crap ton of health. You heal more health with Pyro and T5 than you ever typically would with a support slot, unless you invested a crap ton of cards into your support slot. But why would you do that in a solo game, right? So it's just super good, super reliable. It's super great on the Armory, super solid on Broken Bird, and potentially is also super good on Grave Danger. We can pretty much heal for every single horde event on Grave Danger and things like that, and heal quite a bit. And also, too, when it comes to those holdout events, when it comes to the bots dealing damage to things, it's sort of RNG what they choose to shoot at, right? So if we pop T5 and we deal with the horde of zombies, we end up getting more valuable out of Shredder because there's less targets for the bots to shoot at. And they end up shooting at the tall boys and the mutations and things like that more reliably because there's just less choices for them to have. And so it ends up just being, for everything. You're running around, you're holding out, you're fighting mutations. It's good for literally everything when it comes to T5. It's super solid. Super duper solid. And you can pretty much make an argument to have it in any deck on any campaign, no matter what. That's how good this card is right now. So, but it's to make missions like, the Armory, Pipe Cleaners, when you're running through that first gate, running onto the boat for the clog, things like that are just really, really easy now, if you have T5 active when you're doing so. Shredder for the bonus damage. There's a boss rush at the end of Act 2, right? And so the extra 15% of damage I actually find goes a long way with the bots. At that point, or the bots' weapons scale as the campaign goes on. So at some point, the bots are going to have purple weapons, and they actually start doing pretty decent damage. And overall, this 15% applied to the team, right? 45% team bonus damage, essentially. Very, very nice. Very, very comfortable. It's multiplicative with the damage for the weak spot here for our T5, and it's multiplicative with the damage for our grenades. And so all of it sort of combined allows us to basically min-max the most amount of damage possible, with some extra utility on the side, right? Extra grenades, fire damage, things like that, with the least amount of cards. It's really, really nice. Now, out with a bang. What the heck is this card doing here? This card is about making the bots survive for longer on the missions where they typically die. The armory. Sometimes a bot gets left behind on pipe cleaners. Things like that. When the bots have to move from point A to point B while under stress, while under pressure or being attacked, they tend to suffer because the bots don't like to defend themselves and chase after you. The bot's #1 priority is proximity to you. And so on the armory or broken bird, when you need to sort of run around quite a bit, the bots tend to just die, suffer dramatically. And though they don't usually all die at the same time, they typically die one at a time. Out with a bang ends up saving the other bots. Imagine the scenario. You're in the armory. You're getting stuck in the police station. You have to go. You have to take space. You have to push forward. You can't infinitely sustain on that map. That's what happens. The bots get bogged down by the trail of zombies behind you. They get stuck. Bots can teleport to you if you get far enough away, but bots will not teleport if they're taking damage. What ends up happening is that you get far away from your bots. They're stuck in a horde event. You sort of just have to go, you know what? They're dead. We're leaving them behind. And you begin to do the mission on your own. One of those bots goes down. They drop the pipe bomb. The other 2 bots are liberated. They get to go free. They're saved. And I found that out with a bang helps keep your bots alive for way longer. I can't recall the last time I had a run on the armory that went so smoothly that I had a bot alive at the end. But the very first time I tested this deck out with a bang, I had 2 bots alive at the end. I had literally 2 bots alive at the end. I was able to pick one of them up as I made the round, but for the most part, that first bot went down, held off the horde by himself as he, begged for help, as bots do, and the other 2 bots got to survive, like, for the whole mission. It was really, really nice. In fact, pay attention, this card is going to be in my Act 3 deck as well. Spoilers. This card keeps the bots alive on those missions where typically they end up dying because that grenade saves the other 2 bots. That first bot goes down, and a lot of the times, if you're far enough away, those other 2 bots teleport. Teleport back to me. Because they stop taking damage because the horde is distracted by the pipe bomb. It's actually really, really nice. The extra life, we don't really care about it too much. This is actually the first time I've ever presented a deck for No Hope solo mode that had an extra life. So if you end up making a mistake, you have an extra life, and if the bots pick you up, you can keep going and your run's not over. Because typically, if you die, the run typically ends for the most part, because, or at least the mission needs to be reset, because clutching these missions with the bots is really, really hard. Depending on where you end up dying, right? We got a little extra wiggle room as far as what mistakes we can make and things like that. But not a huge deal, I would think. But sort of nice for fresh bandage, right? So if you end up going down and getting picked back up, a fresh bandage is there for you. I love fresh bandage. I think it's just, if you're playing in solo queue with random people, I still have fresh bandage. I don't know if these people are going to have a support on the team or not, right? But it's just like the most reliable card in the entire game to recover trauma. So even if you're a Chad gamer and you're not taking very much damage in general, you'll pretty much have full health and full trauma, or 0 trauma, for pretty much the entire campaign. I think for most of us, though, we get to the end of a campaign, and if it's been a good run, we're at the final mission, and we sort of go, hey, you know what? I should probably heal with a cabinet at least once, right? You sort of slowly acquire trauma over time, and there's literally no way to recover it unless you run a card that does so, and there's not that very many, or you use a medicine cabinet, and there's not that very many in No Hope mode, right? And so for the most part, fresh bandage is like 400 copper value at the very least, I would say. Not only that, a lot of times, depending on how much health you have, usually you want to heal at the beginning of a mission at the store. Though with the bots having amped up, it's not a necessity. So if you are somebody who is actively healing at the beginning of every mission because you don't want to start with half health and things like that, that's more copper saved. So fresh bandage is going to save you copper because health is the most expensive resource in the game, which is why I always propose loot less, scoot more, loot and scoot, because for the most part there's almost no amount of loot that you can ever possibly find in that little corner of the map that you're going to go explore. that's worth you getting smacked around a little bit, right? Because it's just health is so expensive to recover. But love Fresh Bandage. Any mistakes that you make, pretty much good. And if you get super traumatized out and things aren't going well, Fresh Bandage gives you the hope that if you do end up playing more perfectly in the next couple of missions, you can sort of net gain trauma over time, or net recover, and sort of get back on track as far as your health is concerned. So very, very nice. Love this. Love Fresh Bandage. Love Out with a Bang with this deck. Let me know what you guys think of it. Give it a try. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the future.